Forced to work from home by your employer? Laid off or feeling depressed at home? Do you want to make money working from anywhere? We'll show you how to do it from your couch. It's time for another episode of the Work From Home Show. Coming to you from their homes in Austin, Texas and Tampa, Florida, here are your hosts, Adam and Naresh.
Welcome back to the Work From Home Show. This is your host, Adam Schrader, along with Naresh Vissa. We are once again joined by Jyotsna Ramachandran. She is the founder of Author Success Academy and the #1 international bestseller of the book Job Escape Plan, the 7 Steps to Build a Home Business, Quit Your Job, and Enjoy the Freedom. If you haven't heard the first episode we did with her, go back and check out our last episode. Let's move over into your business just a little bit. Can you talk about the Author Success Academy, what it is, how people can take advantage of it, what you do? And then also I was looking on your website and I saw you have just a Insta Author webinar where you talk about 3 secrets to position yourself as a trusted expert in a week. Can you give like 1 or 2 tidbits from that?
Oh, yes, I would love to. So let me tell you how and why I started Author Success Academy. So I've been running Happy Self-Publishing for the last 5 years, and this is where when we help authors who come to us with a manuscript to have all the other things done, like the cover design, the editing, the interior design, helping them put the book on Amazon. We do author websites, audiobooks, all of that. All the pre-production work happens at Happy Self-Publishing. But I realized that a very small fraction of people finish their manuscript and come to us. But what about the rest of them who are halfway through and they're not able to finish, or the idea is still in their head and they're not able to put it out as a book because of various distractions and other commitments? So that's when I thought, if I have to help more people, I need to start an academy where I can teach people, guide them, motivate them, hold them accountable to finish the book first. So in the beginning of 2020, I started Author Success Academy, and I'm lucky that I started it before March when the whole world went crazy, because I made this also as an online course and a community. I was able to launch it before COVID-19 started, and luckily in the last 10 months or so, I've had more than 500 authors who've signed up to join my academy, and they're all at different stages of writing and publishing their books now. So that's what we do at Author Success Academy, where I coach them. It's a group coaching format. I have an online course. They can learn all the nitty-gritties of how to choose their topic, how to outline the book, what are some of the fast writing strategies. So that's what I teach there. Now, coming back to your question of the Insta Author method. So what I teach people in my academy is, see, you may take a good 3 months to 6 months to write your book, but why wait for so long for the world to know that you're an expert in your subject? What you can do in the next 7 days is, let's say that you make a decision to write your book today, then think about your book's topic and come up with a nice title in the next 3 days. So come up with a catchy title and a more elaborate subtitle in the next 3 days. And then from day 4 to day 6, you can ask a good book cover designer to design the covers. These may not be the final cover, but it can at least be a good working cover for the book. So once you have the cover design, then on day 7, you just go on social media and you announce to the whole world that you are the upcoming author of this book. And that's the Insta Author method, because once the world knows that you're writing a book, they will instantly look up to you as an authority in that subject. And they really don't care whether your book is finished or you're still researching and writing, because eventually you're going to publish the book. But by doing that, you immediately start attracting a lot of opportunities related to the book. It could be speaking opportunities, becoming guests on podcasts, or you could even attract potential clients by just telling them that you're writing a book. So that's the Insta Author method.
Talking about your book some more, titled Job Escape Plan, the 7 Steps to Build a Home Business, Quit Your Job, and Enjoy the Freedom. Do you think people should quit their job first, or do you think they should start their home business while working their job? And you told us your story that you started thinking about the home business while you were working full-time. You had a bad boss, you didn't like him.
Yeah.
And so you were at least thinking about it. But what would be your strategy? I can tell you my strategy always is never quit your job first. Never, ever do that.
I totally agree with you, Naresh.
Yeah.
Because if I have to, that's what I tell in my book as well. First, start your business from home. do it as a side business, let it grow. And then once you're comfortable that this business is going to take care of your bills and everything else, then you quit your job. But when I quit my job, I didn't have that wisdom. It was a very impulsive decision. I just quit my job. But luckily, I had saved up enough money to support my family's expenses for the next 6 months, maybe. So I knew that I had time to start a business, and if nothing would work, I can always go back to a job. But I think this totally depends on a person's nature, because some people get so stressed if they don't get their salary by the first of every month. I think such people should never quit their job till they have another source of income that is stable. Because if they get totally stressed and worked up, then they cannot focus on a business, right? So it totally depends on how one deals with a situation. Whereas there are some people who have for example, very low living expenses, and they can actually afford to do all the trial and error, make the mistakes, and take off a business even after 2 years. And maybe they have a spouse to support them or a dad to take care of their bills. So it varies from a person to person and what is their current phase of life. But the general advice I would give to people is, please don't quit your job and then figure out what to do, because I don't think most of us have the luxury. Most of us don't have that freedom to do that. So it's better to make the plan based on what you're really passionate about and what you really know and what you can easily start, and start something. And I'm sure the first business may not be that $1 million business. I'm sure most of us will try something. Some will fail, some will work well. So we will figure it out eventually. And once it starts doing well, then you can quit your job and focus on the business full time.
You mentioned whenever you started, you hired a bunch of ghostwriters to go in and write books, and you wouldn't really recommend that anymore. So who would you recommend ghostwriting for, or do you think it's something that people just, for the most part, shouldn't ever do?
A great question. So right now, at Happy Self Publishing, we provide a service called angel writing. And that is very, very different from ghostwriting. And angel writing is something I would recommend for those who have the knowledge, they have that passion to write a book. They are really driven to take their message and put it out to the world in the form of a book. But they either don't have the skill, maybe they are dyslexic, or they don't have the time, or it's just that writing is not their thing. Maybe they are great at speaking, but they cannot write. So for such people who have the expertise, who have a story to share, but they're not able to do it themselves, can take a writer's help. And that writer is whom I would call an angel writer, because an angel writer is very different from a ghost writer. If you remember, I said that I would just choose a topic and I would let them do the research and write the book. So my expertise is not there at all. So the ghostwriter's job is to do all the work and put the book together. Whereas an angel writer is like the person who would take whatever is in the author's head and heart and convert that into a book for them. So they are basically assisting the author with the writing and nothing more. All the information has to come from the author. So that's what we provide as a service right now at Happy Self Publishing. And I'm so happy that we launched this. Actually, the first person I tried this method on was my husband, Dr. Girish. As I mentioned previously, he's a relationship therapist. He always wanted to write a book, but since he's dyslexic, he never could write beyond a paragraph. So I interviewed him for about 10 days. Every day I would interview him on one chapter, and he would just go on and on because he loves those topics. And I recorded all of this. Then I listened back to what he spoke and I wrote the book for him. So I was his angel writer. And since that really worked well for his business and he used the book to grow his coaching practice, I thought, wow, I should offer this to other authors like a service. So right now we have a team of angel writers helping out authors.
That's a really great story. Regarding that transition to home, or just in general, how to become profitable, I believe you telling your story, it seemed like it was really simple and quick. But how long do you think it'll take to fully escape one's job and successfully transition to a profitable home-based business?
So this has a lot of factors that we need to consider, Naresh. It depends on how much money one needs to make so that they feel that they have arrived. And also it depends on all the other costs in a business. If you're a solopreneur, let's say I'm a coach, I can coach other moms on parenting, for example. Then if my rates are, say, $5,000 for a 6-month coaching program, and my monthly expenses are, or my current job pays me, say, $10,000, then I need to just have 2 clients a month consistently for about 3-4 months for me to be sure that this is going to work and I can quit my job, right? I really don't have too many other variables and expenses to worry about. But if I start an agency like Happy Self Publishing, yeah, this is another thing that is so important, that is helping me have more time for myself, which is my employees. So I have a huge team of people right now. I have 5 full-time people, and I have 10 or 15 people who work on a freelance basis. So I need to calculate their salaries and figure out my profit only after deducting all the money I invest in my team, all the software, and a whole lot of other things like marketing, Facebook ads. So many different things are there. So finally, at the end of the day, what I take home would be a small portion of the total revenue. So keeping that in mind, if I started off with this business model, it would have taken me at least a year to become profitable enough that the profits are more than my day job. So I think it totally depends on the business model and how quickly one scales. And everyone has their own capacity, I would say, or I would say their own pace at which they want to grow. Right? Some people are really happy by growing slowly and steadily. Some people are so aggressive that they want to quickly quit their job in a month and focus on the business. So I don't know if I have really answered your question, Naresh, but it totally depends on the person who is going to quit their job.
So how do you recommend people stand out in today's book environment? Because you talked about getting started back on Amazon, selling stuff on Amazon, but now it's very, very cluttered in a lot of ways. I know Naresh has his strategy, but what's your strategy for helping authors stand out when they're launching their book?
Yeah, this is a great question. So back in the day, 5 years, 7 years ago, when Kindle was not so crowded, any book that you would put out, if you just choose the right keywords and do the right promotions, it's going to start selling well. So that was what a lot of authors were doing. But if the book's quality is not good, then within a few weeks, it's going to start getting a lot of negative reviews, and the book will not have a long shelf life. It's going to die. And that's what happened to a lot of my books. Out of those 50, today I would say hardly 5 or 6 continue to sell. The others are all dead because those were not books that were well written, right? But today, if I have to advise a client who was working with Happy Self Publishing, I would advise them to authentically put out a book that is based on their experience. They should have done it. They should have lived through that experience, and that is what they should be sharing, because that automatically makes that book unique. So their story is one part of the book, and the other part would be a strategy that's helpful for the reader. So it shouldn't just be like a memoir or somebody's autobiography, but it should also fulfill the need of the reader, because they are going to say, what's in it for me? Why should I read this book? So that's when these 7 steps and the 5 pillars and those step-by-step kind of an approach helps. So a combination of your story and the strategy is what authors should be looking at. But when it comes to promoting the book, authors need to go beyond the book. I feel authors should create their own ecosystem, which should have multiple layers. So I think the book is just the first step. Along with the book, authors should also start producing content in other ways. It could be through a podcast or through a YouTube channel or through something on Instagram. Wherever they feel their audience hangs out, they need to really own that space and consistently put out content. And this is where the readers would probably start following the author and get more and more free value. And then they need to also put something for a paid value. For example, it could be a $97 mini course or something like that, so that the reader transitions from just being a reader and a follower to a buyer. And then a small amount of people from that, like for example, in Author Success Academy, I have 500 students, but a few of them transition and they want a premium service from us. So they could probably hire Happy Self Publishing and take up angel writing. So that way, the author can write a book on whichever topic which is their expertise, but whatever they have as a course should not stop there, but they should have a premium value, which could be one-on-one consulting or speaking or something of that sort, or a done-for-you service where they can actually use the book to really monetize it and convert their readers into clients. So the book should not just stop with the book. It should have a layer of free value, like your podcasts and videos. Then it should have a paid value, which is an easy to buy product or a course, and it should have this premium value. So that's when I call this model an author funnel. And once the entire author funnel is in place, then even if the book doesn't sell 1 million copies, it can still be very, very profitable in the back end.
Regarding this author funnel, do you help authors create this funnel? Do you help them start podcasts and create courses?
Yeah, so a lot of people come to us, Naresh, asking for all of this. So right now what I do is, our expertise is in the book publishing space. So I strategize with them to create the author funnel on paper, and then I just direct them to the right people, because I know my friends who are in the podcasting space. I know people who help with online courses. So I just handhold them with creating this thing on paper as a strategy, and then I direct them to work with the experts for different things.
Jyotsna, I believe you have 2 separate divisions or entities. So you're the founder of Author Success Academy, which is what we've talked about, but also Happy Self-Publishing.
Yes.
What's the difference between the two?
Yeah, so Happy Self-Publishing is what I started after I wrote my book, Job Escape Plan. And this is a done-for-you kind of a service agency for authors who come to us either with a manuscript and they want all the steps to be done to publish their book. So my team helps them with the cover, editing, all of that. Or if they come to us for writing, then we provide angel writing services. So that's what we do at Happy Self-Publishing. But Author Success Academy is more like a DIY course where I teach authors how do they identify the right topic for the book? How do they outline the book? How do they write it? So it's more like a course and a community for authors, where they just get my support once a week. I come on a live call to do some group coaching and help them break all those mental barriers and write the book. So both of them are kind of similar, but one is a complete done-for-you service and another is more like a course.
And regarding you brought up kind of the author funnel. Do you use that author funnel to get your clients, or how do you get clients, especially being in India and tapping into the Western markets?
Yeah, so when I wrote Job Escape Plan, I had no clue about what an author funnel was. So I just wrote a book based on what I liked. But of course, that book completely changed my life, but I did not have a business related to the book. So when I'm writing my next book, it's going to be called Book Your Success, and that's going to have a proper author funnel. But coming back to your question of how do I get my clients currently? So I started off, Naresh, by being very active in a lot of author communities online, Facebook groups and all these different courses that I was a part of, mastermind groups. So I was active in these communities, adding a lot of value to these authors. So a lot of these other people taking the course became my first clients for Happy Self-Publishing. And then it grew through word of mouth. Then I registered ourselves in a lot of industry directories for authors and self-publishing related groups. So they would list us as one of their trusted resources. So so these directories are another great place from where we get our clients. And then content marketing, of course, people watch my YouTube videos, and I used to have a podcast. Now I'm going on other people's podcasts. So these are some of the places where I've been getting my clients from. And referrals are another big piece of our marketing. So not just our clients, but I also partner with other people serving authors. Like there are book coaches and there are business coaches. So anybody who is helping coaches, consultants, speakers, and trainers or entrepreneurs can refer their clients to us, because at some point of time, their clients would want to write their books. So yeah, referral is another big thing. So all this has helped us to get a lot of clients from across the world. So far in the last 5 years, we've helped more than 500 clients from 35 different countries.
That's great. That's really amazing, actually. And I'm happy that you clarified one aspect of book writing, which we talked about on a previous episode, and I brought up this strategy that you utilize of just pumping out as much book content as possible based on keywords or Amazon trends or Google trends. And I'm not a fan of that because, as you said, it's just not sustainable. You might be able to make a quick buck for a couple of weeks, but then the book just dies down. Whereas if you truly tap into your inner potential and your knowledge and your expertise and write something that can be long lasting and where you put your passion into it instead of hiring a bunch of farm worker, online farm workers to create content, that I think will make much more of an impact, not just with book sales, but when it comes to speaking gigs and becoming that thought leader. So I'm happy that you made that clarification. We do appreciate all viewpoints, and if you believe that's a good way to make money, I know several people who do that. Great, it's something our listeners can disagree with me about and do themselves. I have no problem with that, but it seems like you and I are on the same page there.
Yeah, I'm glad that you spoke about the same thing in your previous episode.
Yep, excellent. So your two websites are happyselfpublishing.com, happyselfpublishing.com, and we'll put jyotsnaramachandran.com on our show notes so you can check that out as well. And so, Jyotsna, any final thoughts that you want to share with our listeners or anything else you want to promote?
Yeah, I want listeners to go check out a self-assessment tool that I have. It's called the Author Success Scorecard, because a lot of aspiring authors have this self-doubt if they are good enough to write a book. Do they really have a book inside them? What if they write a book and if it's not successful? So to answer those questions, this self-assessment is really going to help because it'll give you an author success score, and it'll also tell them how to increase that score. So that's available right on top of my website, happyselfpublishing.com. So listeners who are either working from home or want to start working from home and want to really be known as the expert in their industry, I think one way to really stand out and start getting clients would be to write your book. So if you've ever thought about it, then go check out Author Success Scorecard.
Jyotsna Ramachandran, thank you so much for coming on our show. Again, the website, happyselfpublishing.com. You're the founder of Author Success Academy and #1 international best-selling author of Job Escape Plan, the 7 steps to build a home business, quit your job, and enjoy the freedom. Just lots and lots of valuable information about, in both episodes, about your background and also about book writing. So thanks so much for joining us on the Work From Home Show. And to all our listeners, check us out at workfromhomeshow.com. Get on our mailing list. We'll send you all sorts of freebies. Reach out to us, hello@workfromhomeshow.com. That's hello@workfromhomeshow.com. If you have any questions, guest suggestions, feedback about the interview we had with Jyotsna. And until next time, keep on working from home.